You've ever had this feeling that something was terribly wrong with the world that we live in, but you couldn't figure out just what it was? Then you've come to the right place. Secret societies, mystery religions, and the Illuminati have been controlling our reality since the beginning of time. But not anymore, because there is an awakening happening, and you are about to become a part of it. Wake up, because this is a call for an uprising.
This is a call for an uprising. We welcome you to today's show and ask those of you who have not subscribed to please subscribe to our YouTube channel as we continue to expose the satanic Illuminati agenda and the ushering in of the Antichrist. Today's show, I want to talk about another symbol that you will see flashed in front of your face all the time in music videos, in movies, on album covers, on movie covers, and that is the cage. The bird cage, the cage. The cage is a representation of the MK Ultra mind control that these musicians are under. It represents the slavery that these people are under, the bondage that they are under, because indeed they are under physical and mental enslavement when they join the occult, whether they are born into this, because a lot of these musicians, that's what you see with Britney Spears, Justin Timberlake, their parents pimp them into the system, which means that their parents were likely members of a coven or members of a secret society, whether they're Masons, whether they're just members of satanic secret groups. That's how these children get pushed into things like the Mickey Mouse Club. Okay, the children get pushed into it and they become victims of MK Ultra. They put them through this mind control operation. If you don't know what MK Ultra is, the CIA used to use it. They still do. They pretend like they don't use it anymore because information got out about what they were doing, which they took from the Nazis and they brought over here. They do all sorts of trauma-based mind control on these people. Okay, whether it's, electroshock therapy, putting them in situations to just continually, put them through trauma so their brain creates alters and splits in their brain, split personalities with which they can control through triggers. A lot of these musicians are under it. Now, some of which, like I said, are born into it. Others who make this deal go through this process, but obviously a lot of them who are born into this, they go through this at a young age, the MK Ultra. It's done to them at a very young age because as the brain progresses and grows, okay, you can't necessarily do MK Ultra on somebody whose brain has already developed and fully functioned at an older age. It works best when they do it on children and young innocent children. So a lot of these celebrities, like I said, Britney Spears and stuff, you'll see, music videos, album covers. I mean, we can go through the long list of people. Alicia Keys, performing it on stage. Whether it's a MTV Music Award show, whether it's their music video, you'll see Amber Rose, Alicia Keys, you got Britney Spears, Brooke Hogan, you get all of these people, Gwen Stefani, Justin Bieber, you see Lady Gaga, Madonna, Miley Cyrus, Nicki Minaj, even Paul McCartney inside of the birdcage. We've seen Pink, we've seen, Shakira, Selena Gomez, we've seen Rihanna, all the same, all the popular faces, the popular, the ones that the masses out there idolize and worship, these false idols, all of them make reference to the cage. Now, this is how the elitists operate with each other. They hint at these things. They let you know in plain sight what's going on. Just our brains are just not, trained to pick up on symbols and codes. Look how repetitive this is. Think about this. If you start looking for these things, you'll see how repetitive all of this is. Like you would say to yourself, wow, why do all these musicians have, album covers inside of a cage? Does anybody want to do something different? Wouldn't somebody say, hey, I've already seen, Miley Cyrus do it. I've already seen Rihanna do it. I've already seen Lady Gaga do it. I've seen Justin Bieber do it. The list goes on. Janet Jackson. Okay, wouldn't they say Chris Brown? Wouldn't they say, okay, this isn't original. We've seen it. We've done it. This is all strategically placed there. It's all strategically placed. That's why you constantly see the same symbols, like I point out in these music video exposes that I do. You see the black and white tile. You see the butterfly representing MK Ultra. You see all-seeing eyes and pyramids. You see the same exact symbols repetitively used because they know, even though people like, I'm awake, people listen to this channel are awake. Now we see the obvious signs, but think about before you woke up, how they were showing these things to us than they have been for a while, but our brains never process it. Now we think and look for these things and we say, oh, there it is, oh, there it is. Again, repetitive, constantly beating it to our heads. But remember, there was a time period where a lot of us didn't pick up on this stuff because we were, in an alpha state all the time, just constantly just watching these things, not picking up on signs or symbols. That's what the masses are going through. They're not processing these things, but they're showing it right to them. And if people will start pointing these things out, and sharing this information, and people just go, okay, I know these are the symbols that they always use. Let me watch the newest, Britney Spears or Rihanna or Beyonce video and look for the symbols. Then they could start really peeling the layers back of the mind control that they've been under in their own minds and start waking up and realizing all this stuff is around. It's no different than when you watch anything on TV. Always listen for the hints because they take words and they give them dual meanings. Like the word sacrifice. You hear it all the time. Oh, I made a sacrifice. Oh, it took so much sacrifice for me to get to this point in my career. Oh, what sacrifices I've made in the gym so that I could be this type of sports athlete. Okay, they give dual meanings to it. Sacrifice, they're referring to sacrifice because that's the key to getting to the top, is committing these sacrifices, whether they're human sacrifices, animal sacrifices, ritually sacrificing children, whatever it is. That's what they're referring to, but they are telling you all the time in the media about these things, and they have dual meanings. Okay, so they hear it, they interpret it, they know that these people are part of it, these secret society members hear it, they hear somebody talking about sacrifice, they know, they see the words that they use, the symbols that they use with their hands, and that's what I constantly try to say is there's dual meanings to all of this stuff. So when you hear the word sacrifice, when somebody constantly in an interview, a celebrity says, I made so many sacrifices to get to this point, and people are just like, oh, that's so inspiring. He made so many sacrifices. He got up early in the morning and ate his Wheaties and went to the gym, and other people have never tried that before to be an athlete, or no one's ever tried that before, getting up at 6 a.m. to go to the recording studio. Oh, it's just these celebrities who make these sacrifices. They're telling you that they've made sacrifices, literally, to get to these points, because that's what happens. So you see the cage, and it's all the time. It's used in music videos and album covers. Oh, it's all around the music industry. Even, like I said, dates back to the Beatles. I mean, Paul McCartney doing it. And this is a telltale sign that these people are victims of MKUltra. And like I said, it starts at a young age. These kids who just get pushed into the Mickey Mouse Club or show up on Nickelodeon or Disney when they're 8 years old, 10 years old, 12 years old, like Miley Cyrus, Selena Gomez, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, the list goes on. And then a lot of them become actors like Ryan Gosling. They all start there because they're all programmed and trained there. Their parents put them in. Their parents are usually members of these covens or these secret networks, these secret societies. And this is part of what happens. This is how this system works. They keep it contained. They keep it tight. That's why a lot of people from the outside don't have a chance to get in. Unless somebody somehow blows up, they'll make you the offer or, some way to get in. But you still need to, do the sacrifices and do the things that are required to be a part of this, this Illuminati, this secret society. So the birdcage is something to look out for. It is more commonly used, possibly, than any of the symbols out there. It's one of the ones that people just don't pick up on. Okay, the butterfly is another one that people don't pick up on. I know everybody now is always looking for pyramids, and then you have these people who are, paid opposition here to do videos and say, oh, people are calling Illuminati because there's pyramids in Katy Perry's Dark Horse video and all-seeing eyes, and everybody laughs. Those are the basic symbols, the most common ones, the all-seeing eye and the pyramid. But the butterfly and the birdcage are important because it's a sign that these people are victims of MKUltra. And I'm not saying all of them are born into it. Okay, there's people who get into it on their own. But you can look at the telltale signs of a lot of these people with the birdcage. Janet Jackson, another person, right, at a young age who was pushed, into it by her father, right? Chris Brown, someone else at a young age. Britney Spears, the list goes on and on. But this is a symbol. It represents the slavery of the mind control victim. Okay, it represents the physical and mental bondage that they are under. Look for this symbol specifically and all these symbols and share it. I have a lot of videos on these Illuminati symbols. It's pretty basic. It's pretty generic. It's not hard to look for. You'll see it all of the time. And now you'll know, okay, this is another basic symbol that you'll always see represented with musicians, movies, album covers, actors, magazine covers. Okay, this will always be there. And this is a sign that they are victims of MKUltra, that they are under bondage to the elites, that they work for them, that they're slaves to them. Try to share this information and get this out there because people need to know these symbols. It's important. It really helps in the awakening process. That's why I do these videos on the symbols. It's very, very important to know these, not because you're watching music videos and you want to know what they're trying to say. Because when you start looking at the world and seeing the symbols and the signs, it really helps, you know, you break free from this slavery that our minds are under, that we've been trained and pushed to believe all this fake stuff that goes on around us. Well, they operate, you know, in code for the most part with these symbols. But people ask me all the time, and I say this all the time in my videos, I'm trying to wake somebody up. I can't wake somebody up. The easiest way to start waking somebody up is point out the signs and the symbols to them and say, okay, show me this is a coincidence. Here's 50 photos of people in cages. You telling me that they all, you know, it's just none of them were saying, okay, I did a cage cover. Now Miley Cyrus is doing one. Maybe we should do something different. Okay, why is the black and white tile always there? Why is the pyramid always there? The all-seeing eye, the butterfly, all of this stuff. Why is it always there? Is it a coincidence? Why is the bathtub always used? And the fake baptism, the satanic baptism shown? All of this stuff. Okay, it helps people start to wake up. They take a step back, they see it, they start looking for signs and symbols and realizing what's going on. And this is a great way to start somebody's awakening process, by showing them the signs and the symbols that they use, whether it's the hand symbols, you know, whether it's the 666 or the devil horn hand symbols, or it's just people who, you know, are asleep, who still worship these false idols. You might have friends who worship these false idols, who still watch the Rihanna music videos and the Beyonce and still love it. And you point these symbols out to them in the music videos, and they start to say, okay, this is getting a little bit weird. It's getting a little bit satanic. I see the satanic symbols. I see the, you know, the basic Illuminati symbols, and it starts to trigger an awakening in their mind. So that's why it's really important to know these signs and these symbols. It helps people break free from the mental bondage that they're under, because not only are these musicians and actors and celebrities, you know, in bondage, in mental and physical slavery to the elite, we're also in bondage because they've programmed our minds. Okay, they programmed our minds to see a false reality and perceive the world differently than it truly is, and to look for the wrong things all the time because they keep us under this mind control. So again, that's why it's important to see these symbols. I thank you for listening to today's show. I hope this information is useful for you in some way. Thanks again. God bless all of you and your families.